Episode 3947, Why Fear is Not What's Holding You Back.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. I hope you're having a fabulous start to your brand new week. Yes, can you believe it? Did you look at the date? Well, you might also be sleeping in. Why? Because here in the United States of America, we are celebrating and honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. With his movements, I have a dream, you know it. But you know what he didn't have? He didn't have fear. Why fear is not what's holding you back. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you'll want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter, the Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, Inspiring Connection and Community. So what is it for you? When you get stuck, what happens? When you wonder, gosh, where am I going to start next? Where am I going? What do you think that is all about within you? You know, fear has a sneaky way of showing up, doesn't it? And rallying an entire battalion of emotions, doubt, anxiety, indecision, frustration, they all line up behind fear, forming an invisible yet impenetrable wall that paralyzes you from moving forward. It's like, freeze. And it's not just that freeze game that lasts forever, right? Because it really doesn't. I play that with my grandkids. It's hysterical. I think they like it a lot more than I do because, yeah, I don't want to freeze that long unless if I have both feet on the ground or I'm sitting down. Like, you know, you get older, you think about those things. But it paralyzes you, right? You freeze. So have you ever wondered why fear is not what's holding you back? You know, when those walls feel so high, your first instinct might be to just bulldoze through them with brute force. I'm coming after you. You push harder, you hustle nonstop, right? Maybe you were hoping your NFL team was doing just that. Maybe you're hoping tonight when you watch the college football championship, maybe you're hoping that your guys, University of Miami or Indiana Hoosiers, it's going to be like, yep, they're going to do it. They're going to hustle to the very, very end. You throw all of your energy at the problem until something breaks, until something doesn't work any longer. But here's where most people get it all wrong. Force doesn't break barriers. It attracts hesitation. Let that sink in for a minute. Force doesn't break barriers. It attracts hesitation. It's that fear, right? It's just like, but what is it really doing to you? When you push recklessly, fear pushes back harder. It feeds your frustration and grows stronger. This isn't about willpower. It's about strategy, mindset, right? The tools that you're using, how you're setting up your day, and most importantly, consistency. Now, as I mentioned before, we're honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., so all of our federal offices are closed here, and so a lot of you may be off today. So you can join an extra long sleep. Maybe you can take a longer shower, whatever it is, and join that extra long weekend. It's so nice, isn't it? But I can only imagine what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. would have done. I don't know if he had really days off. He was a man in motion. And I'm not a history buff by any means, but the little bit of history I know, he left his mark. So let's go back to 1955. A single act of courage by Rosa Parks ignited the Montgomery Bus Boycott, a monumental stand against racial injustice and segregation. But it's tempting to imagine Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. charging headfirst into the fray in a fiery burst of passion and leading a quick victory. Do you think he was that kind of a man? Well, Dr. King's role in the boycott was not a sprint. It was a grueling marathon. For 381 days, He stood firmly, leading with courage and unwavering resolve. The risks, they were real. Protesters faced arrest. There were physical threats. There were economic hardships, intense social pressure. Remember, this was all happening and we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have social media. We had old press. Newspapers, do you know what that is? We had snail mail. It took a long time still. I mean, with the stamp and all that, but it still wasn't like what it was in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, right? On into 2000s. And then we finally got into email and it's like, we don't need snail mail anymore. It's kind of nice to get that letter in the mail. But there was still intense social pressure, even without Facebook, even without Instagram. And guess what was prominent? Fear was a constant shadow. But Dr. King and the Black community didn't let fear dictate their next move. Instead, they made a conscious decision. The bigger risk was letting fear and inaction win, not doing anything. They didn't try to force change overnight. They built a road of small but consistent steps, a daily commitment to justice and dignity, no matter the obstacles. You know all about it. One step at a time leads to miles of greatness. The boycott eventually succeeded. It ended segregation on Montgomery buses and sent a shockwave through the civil rights movement. And more than that, it tore down the mental chains fear had imposed and proved that consistent, deliberate action can break even the toughest walls. Now, let me pause here for a minute because I want you to know that when you're taking action, action doesn't mean that you're taking over everything. You're not conquering the world. You're not being this army behind your next steps. Your action might be something that actually is pretty quiet, but you're consistent with it. Fear on its own isn't the problem. Fear is a warning signal, an honest flag raised by your brain to highlight risk. The real enemy is what fear invites: inaction. You see, when fear paralyzes you, it's not protecting you. It's imprisoning you. It builds a fortress around your potential and keeps you where it's safe but unfulfilled. Dr. King's example teaches us that stepping into fear is where growth happens, not by pushing harder in a moment of panic, but by showing up day after day with a clear purpose. If you want to escape fear, you must break the chains and build a road of consistency. That is your Kiss to Keep It Simple strategy. Build a road of consistency. Sometimes we think that, if it's really meant to be, it's just going to happen. Or wait, I can force myself to do that. It's all about my willpower. I can will my way to fill in the blank. Now you might be thinking, Christiane, this really doesn't apply to me. Like I'm not some incredible person who wants to go and do a political movement or whatever it is, right? In your mind of how you picture Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. But I will tell you this. It doesn't have to be a movement. It can be as simple as your dream. But you know what? Dreams aren't simple either, are they? They're complicated. And within dreams, there are changes. And you have to find the way to break free from the fear so you can build your road of consistency. Because otherwise, you're just going to be hanging out in the wrong places. So what does it look like to build that road and to do it on a consistent basis? Number one, start small and build momentum. You don't need to conquer the world all at once. Dr. King didn't win civil rights overnight. He showed up again and again and again. He delivered speeches, right? You know the famous one, I Have a Dream. He organized boycotts and inspired others. He preached from the pulpit. What he did came from who he was. and how he lived out his life. He truly was a living legacy, and to this day, he is a legacy. So let me ask you this. What is one actionable step you can take today? And then do it again tomorrow, and then the next day, and then the next day. The compounding power of these small actions will build unstoppable momentum, right? Think of it as take aim, action ignites motivation, which propels momentum. I think I can, 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 I think I can. And now you are doing it because you can. But it takes small, consistent, actionable steps. What are you willing to do today that you can repeat tomorrow, which then becomes today, right? Yeah, I know. Sometimes it just feels like, gosh, it sounds so simple. I know. But we get so caught up in all of our old stuff. I was at a conference this past week and met this dear friend of mine who I've seen from afar, kind of, and connected with her online, but we never got to meet in person. Hi, Roxanne. And it was great just to sit down and chat with her. And one thing she told me that she loved about the conference and being there was that she was able to step out of her everyday. And she gave herself this refreshment and was able to see things differently. You know, what we do every day can either propel us forward or hold us back. You're moving the needle one way or the other. If you're not, you're dead, right? Because our time is always going. There's no, I'm just standing still. It doesn't work like that. If you're breathing, you're moving. And we could get philosophical. We could get psychological. I mean, there's so many different avenues we could take on that, but I want to keep it focused here. Have you removed yourself from your everyday to really look at, gosh, what is it? I mean, if you could wipe the slate clean and really look and reflect and analyze and see, gosh, what am I doing? What am I not doing? What should I be doing? Maybe I am that fearful person that I didn't think I was. Maybe I am the one who's holding on to the chains. Why? Because they're comfortable. They may weigh a ton, but I know the feeling and I'm holding on to them. Today you can be free. You can break free. And your first step is to start small. Take aim. Action ignites motivation. Number 2, anchor yourself to your why. Fear gains ground when your purpose feels blurry. Think about that for a minute. Fear gains ground when your purpose feels blurry. Dr. King and those who participated in the boycott fought with a crystal clear why. They knew what they were going after: freedom, equality, dignity even. When threats loomed, returning to that core reason gave them the strength to endure. Some might use the word inspiration. Maybe it gave them passion, or they were passionate, right? It became the what's next in their story. How can I keep holding on? How can I keep doing this? It's because I know we want freedom. We want equality. What's happening is just wrong. You need your own anchor. Write it down if you must. When fear knocks, remind yourself why you started, why you're doing what you're doing. This doesn't have to be career driven, by the way. This isn't dedicated to just business or personal growth, or don't try to put this in a box. Take what you're hearing and say, how can I apply this to me? What does this look like? That's when you're going to be stretched. That's when you're going to grow. And that might be when you hear, oh, right? That aha moment when the angels sing and you're like, yes, 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 I've been waiting for this. What is it for you? Anchor yourself to your why. And finally, number 3, create accountability structures. Consistency thrives in connection. It does. Why do you think that is? I can think of a lot of things, but for me, it's that tangible, touchable, right? If you're consistent, it keeps the wheels churning, right? I think I can, 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 because I can, and I am doing it. There's connection, right? There's energy. And that comes from literally your body moving, physically producing something, hearts connecting to each other. Dr. King wasn't a lone warrior, was he? The Montgomery community, they held each other accountable. They came together through organized meetings, support networks, whatever it was, and they shared commitment. They knew surrendering was not an option. They were on a mission. You can be on a mission too. It may not look the same, obviously, of what Dr. King was doing, and that's okay. This isn't about a mirror to mirror. It's taking what he did and saying, what can I glean from that? What golden nuggets can I pull? Success leaves clues. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure things out. Okay, for some things you do. I guess to be a rocket scientist, you need to be that. But for the most part, you don't. So find your tribe. Find your community. It might be a mentor, a mastermind. It could be a group, a membership group. It could be a coach. It could be a good friend. It could be your mom. Maybe you just have an accountability partner. It could be your business partner. But it's got to be someone who challenges you, who calls you out, is your truth teller, and holds you to the standard of showing up. You wonder why everything ends up on the back burner? Because something else is put on the front burner. Yeah, write that one down. I spent a lot of time thinking about it. Not really. But that's what happens. We always are putting out somebody else's fire. Another email is more important than another email. It doesn't matter if it's business. It doesn't matter if it's personal. It doesn't matter if your life is falling apart within the privacy of your own four walls or if it's your work that's falling apart. Regardless, you got to show up. You've got to stand firm. You got to take action. Action ignites motivation, which propels you forward, gives you what? That momentum. It's fuel. Otherwise, you're just going to be what you are. And I'm not saying that's anything negative. I'm just saying you're going to be who you are. And so to sit there and complain about, well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not moving the needle. I'm not doing what I want to be doing. In all honesty, whose fault is that? If you want to be somewhere where you're not now, you got to take a different path. You got to change things up. And you can't sit here and live in excuse land. It's not like Candyland. It's not very tasty. It just gets taller walls, thicker walls, emotional walls. All of which I know you know too well. Been there, done that. But let me put this exclamation point on here for you. Fear is real, but it doesn't get to decide your fate. It doesn't get to decide what you do today or tomorrow or the next day, Lord willing. The bigger risk isn't in feeling afraid. The bigger risk is letting fear build a wall so high that no action can climb it. I mean, we talk about Mount Everest a lot, right? A mountain climber, I don't know that I would be a great rock climber. I think it would be beautiful. And I would go up a path that you could drive your vehicle and I could stand up there, or I could walk an actual path, but don't give me a rope and whatever those things are called, a pick and whatever else. I don't want to be swinging from the sides of them trying to climb. Nope, that's not the way I want to go. That's too risky for me, okay? But the bigger risk is knowing that there's no way I can climb it at all. Because then I can't get up there through a nice little path or the convenience of a car or even with a rope and a pick. Don't let your walls hold you back. Don't let what you've built that you thought was helping you, but in actuality, that's what's really holding you back. If Dr. King's legacy teaches us anything, it's this. Break the chains. Not with quick force or brute force, but with steady, purposeful resolve. The road to freedom is paved with consistent steps. One step at a time leads to your miles of greatness. You can accomplish what you want, but it just depends on whether or not you're willing to dismantle the wall that you've built. Go in peace, be present, be incredible, be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed day. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.